the thing about it, it was like, rumor had it that, the scene, Mike Auldridge, T. Michael Coleman, that bass player at the time, and Moondy Klein, who was the guitar player singer with the scene at that time, had a band, another band, side band that they had called Chesapeake. And I think they really wanted to kind of branch out on their own. And so rumor had it that they were going to leave. And it's, there was speculation as to whether John Duffey and Ben Auldridge were going to continue, and thankfully they decided to, and so I got the opportunity to become a member of the Seldom Scene, which was, like you said earlier, it was just, I was like, this is mind-boggling. And actually the phone call that I got from John Duffey was kind of interesting, really, because when I talk on the phone, I have a tendency to kind of walk around. When I answered the phone and he said, "Hey, Fred, this is John Duffey," I immediately sat down. And that's pretty much where I stayed. It was great. It was a very exciting times, no question. Oh, it was awesome, man. It just was like, it was kind of surreal, really, because, we just, and it really, John and Ben were just so cool about the whole thing. It wasn't like you were under pressure or anything, for this audition, so to speak. It was, hey man, we're just going to pick a few songs here. Let's see what happens. And it was a very nice afternoon. And I kind of got a pretty good vibe from it when it was all said and done. And, turned out that Ben and John were happy and Dudley and Ronnie were happy, and I certainly was happy. So, it kind of went on from there. It actually was New Year's Eve, 1995. And the first time we rehearsed was probably late, summer of 1995. And so it actually worked out good because we got together on a regular basis at John's house, like probably once a week from that point on, which was a good thing. I mean, you have 3/5 of the band is new, so we had to, it was good for us to be able to do that. But the unusual thing about that, if anybody knows anything about John Duffey, he has a reputation of not wanting to rehearse. And, of course, he didn't have much choice at this point, really, because there's so much transition. But I think he actually enjoyed it, I think he was, that the whole situation with maybe the band, breaking up and all that kind of got him down in the dumps a little bit. But then when he got back ticking again, with some other folks, he kind of like really got into it. So Ben Auldridge has always told me, he says, I don't know how in the world you guys got him to do that. He said, we couldn't do that for, 30 years before. But I think really he didn't have much choice, but that was fun. Yeah, but New Year's Eve, 1995 was the first show. And that was an interesting evening too. In typical Seldom Scene fashion, it was a big event, because, it was like everybody who had been in the Seldom Scene was there, all the, various group configurations, and they played all the way through, the New Year's Eve evening, starting from the original guys all the way down. And we were the last ones to go on, the new configuration at the very end. So basically I was sitting there all night long, watching these guys and listening to them play, and I'm like, oh my gosh, And then we went on and played our set, and things went well, and, we just been going ever since.